I love my job, especially when you've got vehicles like this.
Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details, and I'm working on this gorgeous 2019 Audi IS5 for my customer. This is a repeat customer. He's done a lot of modifications to this vehicle since he purchased it. But what I really want to share with you guys, we have beautiful spring weather, and I want to get this vehicle protected under my canopy. I don't want to have to deal with water spots while I'm washing it, and just make my day a little bit easier. So I want to share with you guys 2 pop-up tents that I've been using for detailing and the pros and cons of both of these products and why one might be better. For those of you that maybe you're a mobile detailer, or maybe you're like me, you like to wash the vehicle outside but you don't want to deal with water spots, which size canopy is the best for your world? So let's set them up and see what the tents look like. So right off the bat, standard canopy that I've been using in the past is a 10 by 10 instant pop-up canopy. And I recently upgraded to the Coleman 13 by 13 instant eaved shelter. A lot of you guys have been asking, you've seen me using the 13 by 13 in a couple of my recent videos. You've been asking about this tent. So I wanted to share with you guys kind of the pros and cons to using one over the other, how you can set them up, and some things that you might want to consider when you're using one or the other. So if it looks like I am unboxing a brand new unit, that is because I actually am. This is a replacement unit that was sent to me from Coleman, and I'll explain why further on in the video. But for those of you that are interested in this tent, I will share with you just how simple and easy it is to set this tent up straight up from the box. So putting together a 13 by 13 pop-up tent is a lot easier than one might think, especially if you're doing it by yourself. It does take a little bit of time to get used to putting it together and being more efficient. I've had about 6 months practice, so I've definitely become a lot more comfortable, but you can leave the canopy top on each time you tear it down just to make it a little bit more easy next time you put it together. But you can see once you get your top on, the hardest part for me is getting that first leg to lock in place. Sometimes the accordion style tent wants to come with you, but once you get that first piece locked into place, the other legs lock in very easily, and then from there you fold down your 4 corners and that will lock the canopy top in place. You extend your legs and it's put together, just as simple as that. It may take about 1.5 to 3 minutes max to put this tent together. It's a little short. It's the only thing. Whenever I am working, especially on the sides, I'm almost 6 foot tall. I have to watch where I'm walking. So how I manage height issues with this canopy, especially for trucks or taller SUVs, is I will lift all 4 legs up on cinder blocks. I just showed you one here, but I will actually put all 4 legs up on a cinder block and then actually use a second cinder block on top of the first one to weigh down and hold down the legs. So that way if it's windy, I have a secure canopy. Let's see if I can set this one up faster. All right, so you can see just from our shade standpoint alone what kind of difference that we have with the 13 by 13 versus the 10 by 10. And you might be thinking, you know, leg size, that's one thing, but really the shade is what you are wanting to benefit from, not necessarily just the size of the pop-up tent. I know especially when we have soccer tournaments, my husband was like, we'll take the 10 by 10. I'm like, you're not going to get much shade
with the 10 by 10 versus the 13 by 13. You can fit a lot more people under the 13 by 13. We're just going to actually quickly measure. So from front to back, you get, from this side to this side, you actually get almost 5 feet more of shade, and you get almost 4 feet more of shade this way, because we were about 8 feet here and about 12 feet here, so that's about 4 feet an additional, kind of, if you were to consider it deep wise, and then width, you get almost 5 feet more of shade. So when you're working with a vehicle, let me actually pull in with the Audi, show you how you can maneuver under the 13 by 13 versus the 10 by 10. All right, so you can see I have the two in conjunction of one another, and I have complete shade for the vehicle. And I actually have extra shade now that I can put my products, my equipment, and not have them be exposed to the heat. But you can just see now I can work under the comfort of a canopy. When I open the doors, I have far enough clearance. The thing that I want you guys to also note is if it's raining on the 10 by 10, I would have rain be coming down on half this door. So when I have the 10 by 10, I have to work in extremely close quarters because I don't want the inside of the vehicle to get wet. Now, I do have a garage to work out of. I understand that. There are some times when I'm vacuuming that it is actually easier for me to be out under the canopy like this, to be able to see dirt a little bit more clearly versus being in my garage. Sometimes I just kind of brave it and tough the elements. But you can see with the 13 by 13, I can open the doors completely. Everything is still under cover. I can have my equipment out. I don't have everything kind of lined up nice and tight with like I would with the 10 by 10. I find that the 13 by 13, I can still open all of the doors. I don't have to slide things back like I do with the 10 by 10. But I'm able to just safely maneuver around the vehicle and not have to shuffle back and forth or deal with the vehicle possibly getting wet because of the elements. So hopefully this helps some of you guys in trying to decide on canopies. As you can see, I like both. I started out with the 10 by 10. I upgraded to the 13 by 13. I still use both. I know, especially like if we have sports or events, the 13 by 13 is a lot more conducive for fitting more people, but you do have to be mindful. It's extra weight. It's a taller canopy on a windy day. You need to find some way to anchor it down. If you're working on blacktop, that is just the only work around the 10 by 10. You're still going to have those issues. The obvious difference is we've got plastic supports here for the 13 by 13 here. It's more fiberglass. It's a little bit more durable. I've had this one for a year. I've had no issues with it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to put the link for both products down below. Whether you like the 10 by 10, I know some people will take two 10 by 10s and stack them. I like the 13 by 13 because of the width. There's obvious pros that come with it, but again, there's some things that you need to deal with. Size, weight, setup can be just a little bit more cumbersome, but you can see it took about 20 seconds longer for me to set up the 13 by 13. Substantial more shade, workaround space. But again, you may not, if you're mobile, you have a smaller vehicle to put all of your equipment in, the 13 by 13 may not work for you. So can you use a 10 by 10? Yes. And if you're using two 10 by 10s, is two 10 by 10s the same amount as a 13 by 13, or would you get just as much workspace with one 13 by 13, just kind of slide things back and forth if you need to wash a vehicle or polish it? It's just a matter of moving it 2-3 feet forward. And that way you can kind of continuously work in the shade. But you can see how I have my setup and how it works for me on hot days like this. So I got to get moving on this vehicle. Wanted to share with you guys these pop-up tents for those of you that are interested. Hopefully this can help some of you out. All right, guys, you have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell off to the side. Stay tuned for future videos that we have coming out. And God bless.